Hey, this is Goose. Welcome back to the show. This is On With The Show. And today's topic is where I'm going to give you my honest review of the Disney Channel TV miniseries Ironheart. Now, I know that a lot of people have already talked about the show, but I want to give you my review, and I've found a few things that are kind of interesting with the show itself. That I find, it made me think a little bit about what's going on and what's it being targeted to, and I think you'll find it interesting. But before we get into all of that, go down, subscribe to the channel, bang the bell for notifications, bang the bell for notifications, so you always know when new videos are uploaded. And do me a favor, give me a big like on the video, because it does help me with the algorithm and get this show out to more and more people. And yeah, let's get into it. Ironheart came out this past summer to much fanfare, and a lot of people were looking forward to this. Some people were kind of like, okay, well, let's see how this works. How is this going to entail into the next saga of the MCU? A lot of people question whether or not this might be just a gender-bending Iron Man kind of thing going into this. But it was a 6-show series, which makes it a TV miniseries. If we look at the IMDb page for Ironheart, it scored a 4.4 out of 10, which is not really that good. I would say anything, above a 5. If you're scoring over 50%, I think that's good for me. It's basically was about, it says, genius teenage inventor Riri Williams creates the most advanced suit of armor since Iron Man. The creator was Chinaka Hodge, who was, I believe, the director for Black Panther 2. It stars Dominique Thorne, Anthony Ramos, and Lyric Ross. Its primary cast again was Dominique Thorne, Anthony Ramos, Lyric Ross, Alden Ehrenreich. Let me see if I can get that, as Ezekiel Stain, which I found a very refreshing person to have, or character to have in the show. Eric Andre played Rampage. He was only he was in 5 episodes, but I think he was more like mentioned in 5 episodes. And of course, we got other stars as Jared Morrell, Zoe Tarakis, Manny Montana. Let's get into this, because I was looking at the user ratings because I want to know about the 4.4. And if you look at it across the board, overall, you can see that it did not fare well. There was over 26,000 people who gave it a 1-star rating, or gave it a 1 rating. That's 44.5% of all the people. It did gain, it did have over 8,000 10s overall, which is about 13.8%. So it kind of explains why the 4.4 rating. But if you look at just the United States alone, you see in the United States, it's almost like you either loved it or hated it. It was either a 10-star. It says, in the United States, it was a 5.4 out of 10, which is actually not bad. In the United States, though, gaining over 5,200 10s, but it also got over 5,800 1s. So you either loved it or you hated it. Where am I in this? Well, let me tell you, I was not very fond of Ironheart. The reason it took me so long to review this, and I know it's only 6 episodes, so I could have just binge watched this in one day. The problem is that for me it was so boring that I was like, yeah, I'll watch the next episode tomorrow. Yeah, I'll watch the next episode in a couple of days when I got time. I found it very uneventful. The whole thing was boring to me. It did not gain any of the interest or any of the carryover that you look for in a television show like this, because which is what you want. You want to have that cliffhanger that will carry you. What's going to happen next? Which, interestingly enough, in some ways, you knew what was going to happen next before the next episode, because hey, that's what the setup was. There was nothing there that seemed to make me want to go, I gotta see what the next episode is. I gotta see what's going on, and then what happens next with Riri and her friends, Natalie, and how is the Hood? Is the Hood gonna catch onto her and find out what's gonna? I didn't get any of that. In fact, a lot of it I pretty much predicted for the next. I knew what was gonna happen come the next episode, which was exactly what happened. So it just didn't. It didn't give me that sense of I have to watch this. First of all, Ironheart was not a show that was on my radar that I wanted to watch anyway. But I was kind of like, I might as well give it a shot. I might as well see what it's about. Some people are, it's getting mixed reviews. I want to see, I personally want to see what it's about. And yeah, it wasn't anything that I was kind of like, oh yeah, this is a great show. It was kind of like, Now don't get me wrong. I liked a lot of the acting in this. Anthony Ramos and Lyric Ross, I thought were really were well done. And let me see if I could get Mr. Ehrenreich's first name here, because I want to get this correct. Alden Ehrenreich, who is Ezekiel Stain, I thought was also really, really good. I thought Dominique Thorne was kind of okay. She was, she was adequate, but I had a huge, huge problem with the character. And the problem I had with the character was that she didn't seem to be very ethical, especially as a superhero. Now, a lot of people can sit there and say, well, Goose, she's an anti-hero. Yeah, even anti-heroes have a certain code they live by. And it just seemed like that the only thing that Riri Williams was interested in is, one, money, and two, her suit. And that was it. She's in the very beginning, she's at MIT on a free ride. She's considered a genius. She's great at mechanical engineering and electrical engineering, and so they see the possibilities of what she could do, and she throws it all away basically for money, to help. She basically helps other people cheat for money, and I'm like, is that what's really important to you? Is making money so you can finish your suit that you're building at MIT? And then she has, kind of the gall, and this is just in the first episode, to steal the suit. The suit that she built there on the resources of MIT. She steals it and then, tries to fly it home back to the south side of Chicago, where apparently all of a sudden, as she's just about to make her approach, basically it shuts down because the school is like, yeah, she's been kicked out, and if you're going to steal it, it's not going to be worth anything for you anymore anyway. To then go, and she gets herself involved in a heist crew for money. Again, because I gotta finish my suit. I gotta fix my suit. She goes to some people, to Ezekiel Stain, who basically is like, who gets stuff off the dark web so she can buy stuff off him to make her suit, because I have to have it for this heist crew, because we're going to be stealing from somebody, I don't know who, I don't care, I just want my money. That is the running theme in like the first 3 episodes. And she doesn't get anybody else involved. None of her friends know what she's doing, other than she's working with her suit. She's using her suit for work. And she's making all this money. She's buying all these expensive gifts. And they try to question her, and she shuts them out. The one genius thing I did like about Ironheart was how they incorporated her best friend as the AI for the suit. I thought that was an interesting twist on the whole thing. And so I kind of was like, okay, I can see this. This makes some sense to me, because she basically she neurologically hooked herself up to the AI. And of course, who are you going to think about? If you're thinking about somebody, they're going to be the AI. It would almost be like, using, like, Alfred was the AI for Batman. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how Jarvis was the AI for Tony. But throughout this whole thing, and of course now she's trying to figure out, what is the suit? What's he do for? What's it use it for? I got to figure this out, because now all of a sudden she has to figure out who she's working for. And what is this cape all about? What's this hood all about? Putting herself and others in danger the entire time. And nothing in this entire thing makes it feel like there's any kind of real tension. None at all. Because we always know that Natalie and the suit are going to bail her out when she needs to be bailed out. There's nothing going on. There were some other references here I thought that were actually pretty crazy too. One was that she kept saying that, unlike Tony Stark, who has billions of dollars and $1 billion debt and a trust fund and blah blah blah, I don't have that kind of money. I have to, And do we all forget that maybe Tony Stark first built that thing in Iron Man 1, the first Iron Man? He built it in a cave with scrap that he was able to pick up and bring back to the cave to build his suit, because he's that smart. She seems to have an excuse for everything that goes on in the show. Why do you build a suit? Because I can. No particular reason, just because I can. Because I'm smart enough. I'm smart enough to be able to build a suit. The problem is you're too dumb to realize that you've gotten yourself in a situation that could cost you and your friends and your family their lives. Do you understand what I'm saying? It almost feels like she's smart enough to where she's a genius to be able to build a suit, and to be able to build a suit out of scrap metal, whatever it is she gets out of the junkyard. But she's too dumb to realize that her actions are leading further and further down a road that's worse than where she started. I mean, it made me think, because she kept bringing up Tony Stark, how he had all this money, and it's like, no, Tony Stark was a genius. As a matter of fact, from where I'm sitting, this version of Riri Williams, she's not Tony Stark smart. She's not Bruce Banner smart. She's not Hank Pym smart. Hell, she's not Peter Parker smart. She's not even Otto Octavius smart, or Harry Osborn smart, or Bruce Wayne smart. She goes off half-cocked, with no plan whatsoever, which is the genius of all of these other superheroes. They wouldn't purposely go into a situation without a plan, without a contingency. What if something goes wrong? Hey, we can get out of this. She's not Reed Richards smart. She's not Beast smart. I can't remember what Beast's alter ego is, but she's not Professor X smart. She does things spontaneously, believing that she can get out of any situation with the suit she's in. That she's so smart, she's built a great suit, and that I can survive whatever it is that, whatever danger I put myself into. Only to find out that her actions lead to one guy going to prison, and she's on the run. When she finally defeats the Hood, and we've come to find out, one of the things that's interesting is that the Hood, again played by Anthony Ramos, who I wish had more story, but I'll get into that in a minute. basically we find out that he got his powers from the Hood from Mephisto, who is a demon, who is from the Dark Realm, and Riri is told that. You know, I don't know if she knows about Mephisto. She doesn't know anything. I guess they don't tell her about Mephisto, but you know, he gets these powers from the Dark Realm, magic. And the entire time I'm thinking, okay, this is the point where you bring in Doctor Strange. You bring in Doctor Strange. Only they don't do that. They don't bring in Doctor Strange. Which makes me think that maybe this is a lead up to something with Doctor Strange. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But even she, in the very end, she sits down. You know, Mephisto tells her to sit down. You must be famished. Have a bite to eat. Blah blah blah. And even he, tells her, like he told Parker Robbins, who was the Hood, that you'll have all this power. You'll have whatever you want. And they're like, well, what's in it for you? Oh, nothing that you'll miss. Yeah, like your soul. And then we find out in the cutscene that she's still trying to figure out how to bring Natalie back with the AI, only to have Natalie come back from the dead. And she's like hugging her, and then we see the big old scars running up her arm, and we're like, she just sold her soul to a demon. And we're like, okay, the whole thing, you get to this ending and you're like, oh, it was such a disappointment. And again, if you go down the list of MCU characters, that are actual geniuses, I mean, Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Hank Pym, Reed Richards, Peter Parker. I mean, I know Peter Parker, that's why we had the multiverse. He tried to use magic to get everybody to forget about him, and it didn't work. But even then, I don't believe Steve Rogers. None of them would have gone in there and have sat there and said, sure, I'll side with you. Why not? It's only my soul. I found the whole show disappointing. I thought there was so much more that could have been done. It just left me disappointed. Now, again, I don't know, because things have changed at the MCU where, this was in production before the recent changes that they're making, where they're going to cut back on a lot of the stuff. And so I don't know. It's been kind of open-ended about what's going to happen with Ironheart after this. Some people have talked about they may broom it, they might recast it. One of the things I had seen on YouTube, I saw a YouTube video from BuzzFeed where Anthony Ramos basically came out and said that Dominique Thorne basically just took over the whole production, sometimes demanding rewrites on the fly, leaving production, in chaos while she waited until she got her way. Now, again, I don't know how much truth to that there is. It is from BuzzFeed, which is kind of a reliable source when it comes to entertainment news. But again, I'm getting this like from their channel, which is kind of getting it like secondhand. So is that what happened? Could have been that there was enough chaos on the set that it just basically fell apart. I mean, there are many examples of actors and actresses kind of holding up things until they get their way. And I think that's kind of the tragedy of this, because if that's true, then I don't know how much, I don't know if Ironheart can really go on. They may have enough of a fan base to say, yes, we want a second season, and they might get it. They're probably not going to get it for a while, because again, the Marvel Studios is like hitting the brakes for a little bit and only concentrating on certain projects, and I think that that's probably the proper move to do. but I don't see Ironheart coming back in the same manner as it was this with this show. I think there are going to be a lot of changes if they come back for a second season. All right, so that is my review. What do I rank it? It's kind of in the middle. It's meh, and I give it. It's pretty much spot on for me. A 4 is right about what I give it. Because I was just so disappointed. I was disappointed pretty much in every episode. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe things will change. Maybe some way they'll right the ship and Ironheart will come back and it'll be so much better. The writing will be better and the acting or whatever. All right. Thank you very much for watching today. If you haven't already, go down, subscribe to the channel, bang the bell for notifications, bang the bell for notifications so you always know when new videos are uploaded. Give me a big like, big thumbs up on the video so that we can get this out to more and more people. Share this out to your friends, family, neighbors. Let them know what I'm doing out here. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Am I right? Is Goose? Yeah, you're right on the money with this. Or no, Goose, this was a great show, and I think you missed the point. Let me know. I do read your comments, and I do like the feedback that I get from the comments through here. Again, thank you for watching. This is On With The Show. My name is Goose. I will see you on the other side.